as you can imagine, with Reigning Grace Ranch turning 11 years old, we have so many incredible stories of victory, so many stories that would just break your heart. And I get asked a lot, what is your favorite story at the ranch? And you guys, for me to pick one, it's so incredibly hard because every single day there's a story that happens out here, honestly. We've actually joked because we're like, we need to start a YouTube channel because I can't make some of this stuff up, people. Some of this stuff is just crazy. Like this morning when we were filming these, the Great Pyrenees got out and ran over to the neighbor's yard and we're trying to chase them around and it's a good time. But I would have to say, one of my favorite stories, I have a couple, but one of the favorite stories that I have, there was a little girl out here that we were working with her family. She was a foster kid from China. And she had reactive attachment disorder, and if you guys are familiar with that, it's where kiddos go within and start taking care of things for themselves because they've learned that as an infant when they cried, nobody came to their aid. And so what happens is they learn that it's every man for themselves. And so these kids, they could be difficult. Well, this little girl was out here with her family, and we were doing a session with the family. And we finally got to a place where she's standing out there and we're working with Shiloh, and she doesn't allow her family to connect to her, and she doesn't connect to them. She's just kind of like, she's a member of the family, but kind of an invisible member of the family. And the whole purpose of this activity was how can we get you more connected? And Shiloh just happened to be standing parallel next to this little girl, and she was standing there. And she started sobbing, and she said, I'm not worthy of anybody loving me because I don't know if I love myself. And at that very moment, before she even finished that statement, Shiloh reached her head around this little girl's body, and the little girl was probably about 8 years old. Shiloh reached her head around this little girl's body and pulled her into her neck and just held her there. And then this girl just started sobbing, and we said, oh my goodness, Shiloh believes that you're loved. And she loves you. So why on earth do you think that you're not loved? And so that was just, horses have this incredible way about them of showing up in the raw right now in the present moment. I also had a first responder that came out here, and she said, I have such panic and anxiety about being in the normal world that I feel like I am a wild horse and I have 1 foot in the wild and 1 foot in captivity. And at any minute I'm going to run. And so I said, okay, so as we walked into the horse paddock, our wild horse, Mariah, beelined it right to this person. And Mariah accompanied her through that entire pen that entire morning. And it was uncanny. I could not have planned that any better. Mariah, our wild horse, who most people can't get near, chose this woman to accompany through the paddock, and she kept her safe. And a lot of times horses identify with these people, the horses that when people go out into the paddocks, they find people that they're like. And you guys, I couldn't make that up. It was the coolest thing. And I have so many of those stories. They're happy and they're sad. And we're just so blessed to be able to work with animals that provide instant feedback like this, because in a world where we don't know what truth is anymore, horses are they're truth tellers.